Hey guys, if you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here a while, welcome back. As you guys have probably already seen, a little bit of a different video today because I'm going to be answering some of your questions. Basically, I get loads of questions in the comments the whole time about all sorts of different things, and I thought, why not answer them all in one go? So we're going to be doing that today, as well as questions from comments. I was put a question box on my Instagram story. I've got loads of people asking questions there, so yeah, I've written them all up. They're all on my laptop here, and I'm going to be reading out the questions and try my best to answer as many of them as we can. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. First question I've got here is, how do you balance your football with your content creation and your personal life? I think it's a great question. I think it's a stretch to call it a balance, if I'm being completely honest. I don't feel like I've found a balance. I feel like I'm absolutely winging it. But I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without my calendar. My calendar is my absolute lifeline here. Everything I need to do, everything I need to know is in my calendar somewhere, and I take it one day at a time. I don't really know what I'm doing tomorrow yet, but tonight before I go to bed, I'll have a look at my calendar for tomorrow and just make a plan from there. But yeah, I don't know if I found a balance. The thing that's hard with the content stuff is it's all so random. Like, no 2 days look the same, which I love, but I have found it really hard to find a proper balance with that and my football, which is very structured and very routine. So yeah, I think it's a stretch to call it a balance, but I wouldn't be able to do any of it without my calendar, my absolute lifeline. Okay, who is the toughest striker you've ever had to play against? So yeah, for those that don't know, I'm centre back, and the toughest match I've ever played, the hardest team I've played against, is probably Ipswich. Played Ipswich in pre-season last season, and oh my god, they were so good. So Ipswich are a WSL2 side, so a few leagues above where I'm playing, and yeah, they were insane. So the best player I've played is probably Sophie Peskett, who's the striker for Ipswich Town, and all props to her. She is an incredible player, and it was a really cool match to be a part of. But wow, that was a proper challenge. Okay, as a centre-back, do you prefer a clean sheet or scoring a goal? For me personally, I don't score many goals. It has been a long time since I've scored one, so I'm gonna go clean sheet. Because I don't know, like, obviously scoring a goal is an incredible feeling and get to celebrate and getting all the accolades for scoring and stuff. But the thing that I prefer over scoring is a solid block tackle, a slide tackle, something like that. That feeling, you actually can't match it. That is my favourite thing in football, full stop. So if you're asking clean sheet or scoring a goal, I'd probably go clean sheet, just because that's kind of more along the lines of like a tackle. But you just can't beat that feeling when the striker thinks they've got their shot off and you're like, no, and you get the tackle in. That is such a good feeling. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go clean sheet there. What goes through your head when you're the last player back during a one-on-one counter-attack? I mean, you're just trying to slow it down. If you're one-on-one and you're the last player between you and the goalkeeper, you're just trying to slow them down. You're just trying to give your teammates time to get back and support you. So you're not really trying to win the ball, because if you dive in and try and win it and get beaten, it's game over. You're literally just delaying. You're just causing as much of a problem for the striker as you can. So yeah, I'm probably thinking about slowing it down. But also, I guess it depends where we are positioned on the pitch. I'm trying to show them away from goal a bit. So yeah, slowing down and pushing them away from the goal are the two biggest things. But yeah, your goal in that situation is never to win the ball. It's just to wait until you've got enough people back with you so that then you can step in and win the ball. Okay, next question. Who is your role model? Who is your idol? I get this kind of question a lot, and it's a really interesting question. At the moment, I think my idol, my role model in football is probably Leah Williamson, for everything she's doing both on and off the pitch. She's a centre-back like myself, so I think her style of football is really interesting. She's maybe not your like brick wall centre-back like a Millie Bright that you see, that you expect, but she's got a very different defensive style. I think it was Euro 2022, that whole tournament, I don't think she made a single tackle. I think there's some crazy stat like that. Like, she's a very different style of centre-back to other centre-backs. So yeah, I've analysed a lot of her game and yeah, try and play a similar-ish style. Okay, what are your teammates like at Cambridge United? Who is the joker in the dressing room? Okay, I love the team. I feel like I've slotted in really well. I do think it's really hard moving at the point in the season that I did. Like, I've done it in the past and it's been really, really difficult. But yeah, I feel like I slotted straight into the team, which was really nice. And the girls were all super welcoming, super friendly. So yeah, they definitely made my life easy moving teams when I did. The Joker in the dressing room, it's probably a few fighting for that title. Maybe like a Sammy Edgar or Matilda. I don't know. There are a few big personalities in the dressing room, which I think every team needs. So yeah, someone like that for sure. What is the hardest part about being semi-pro? This is actually a really good question, and I don't think anyone's ever asked me this one before. The hardest part about being semi-pro is probably the expectation. And I mean this in the sense that we're semi-pro, we're not full-time, we only train a few times a week and we play matches like once a week. So we're not full-time, we're not in the training ground every single day. But there's an expectation to be training every single day. There's an expectation at this level now we're competing in the same league as teams who do train every day. So if you want to compete, there is an expectation that you are doing a lot more than just a couple of training sessions a week with the team, which is great. But myself, as everyone else in the team I play in, has another job, and it is really hard to balance that expectation of effectively trying to compete with full-time footballers and trying to train and play and do everything the same as a full-time footballer as a part-time footballer. I think the expectation and the standards are so high in this league now that yeah, to continue competing you have to be doing so much on top of the semi-pro football schedule. So yeah, I think it's really hard to balance it all. Like I was saying earlier, like it's so hard. But yeah, the expectation is probably the hardest part for me. How did it feel when you walked out to play at the Abbey Stadium? So for those that don't know, the Abbey Stadium is the main stadium of Cambridge United, and the women's team, we played there a few weeks ago now, which was a really cool occasion. We got a record crowd, it was an amazing day. But yeah, a really cool feeling to step onto that pitch and play for Cambridge United in such an iconic stadium like that. I think the thing that has so much meaning for me is I used to be a ball girl for Cambridge United. Not many people know that, but yeah, I used to ball girl for the team. And yeah, I used to sit at the side of the pitch watching the men's team play and be like, I want to play in this stadium one day. I want to be playing at this level. So yeah, to actually be there and doing what 14-year-old me was dreaming of is kind of mad. So yeah, an incredible feeling. And I actually wrote, I always wear tape around my wrist and it's got words on it, just something to remind me of how I want to do in this game, how I want to feel, that type of thing. And yeah, I'd written on my wrist on that day, make her proud. And yeah, that was just a nod towards the younger version of me that used to sit on the side of that pitch, being the ball girl, collecting the ball for the men's team and dreaming of playing in a stadium like that one day. So yeah, it was a really cool day, really cool experience, and it felt awesome. What's the best piece of advice for someone who wants to play football professionally? So obviously I'm not a professional footballer, but we're still trying to get there. But the best piece of advice is, first of all, you just have to start. If you're ever going to make it to the top in any field, whether that's football or anything else, you just have to start, and you have to accept that you're not going to be very good when you start. It's purely down to the hours you put in. There are obviously a few exceptions to the rule, like I'm sure Messi was unreal when he was younger, when he was just starting out, but for the majority of people, when you start, you're not very good, and you have to accept that and not let that hold you back, because you will improve. So for me, when I was younger, I just put the hours in. And I think that's the most important thing. I wouldn't describe myself as a very naturally gifted footballer. I've just worked so hard, and because I love it. And I think that does make the work easier. If you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. So you need to keep it fun, but I do think you need to put the hours in. If you don't put the hours in, how do you expect to improve? So yeah, keep it fun, but definitely you gotta put the work in. Okay, next question. How do you stay focused when the ball is at the other end of the pitch? It's a good question. For me, and I think some people don't realise this, as a defender, like, you've always got something to do. You're always dealing with a striker. There's a striker moving between me and my other centre-back. We'll pass them over, we're communicating, we're supporting play from the back. Like, I feel like I'm always doing something. So yeah, I might not be right in the middle involved in play, but I still feel switched on, I still feel focused. And it's kind of mad because I'm someone who struggles with focus. It is not my strong point. If you saw me at school, I could not stay focused for very long. But you put me on a football pitch and for 90 minutes, I won't notice anything else. And there have been some mad situations where I've been playing football and it has chucked it down with rain, and I've come off the pitch and I'm in the dressing room and I'm like, why am I soaking wet? I was like, I don't remember it raining, or I don't hear anything from the sidelines. You could be screaming my name and I would not hear you while that ball's in play. So I find it quite easy to focus, but yeah, I do feel like as a centre back, you are always involved in something. Yeah, I feel like I personally find it quite easy to, like, I feel like I'm doing anything. I'm doing something the whole time. So I find it quite easy to stay focused and switched on, which is a big contrast to the rest of my life. Do you have any superstitions? Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. I wouldn't describe them as superstitions, but I feel like most other people probably would. I feel like they're routines. Like, I think it's a fine line between what's a superstition and what's a routine. So for me, my routine includes on a match day when I put my socks, shin pads and boots on, I will always do it in the same order. Always have done, always will do. If I mess it up, it all comes off and we start again. So I wear like shin pad sleeves, so it'll be right one and then left one, and then it'll be left shin pad, right sock, left boot, right boot. Without fail, that is the order that I'm putting my stuff on. And I guess you could call it a superstition, but for me, like, that's just part of my routine. That's how it's always been, and yeah, that's what happens on a match day. So I don't know if you'd call that a superstition or not. If you could bring a current Lioness to Cambridge United for one game, who would you pick to be your centre-back partner? This is the easiest question I've had all day. Leah Williamson. She's my favourite player. I love her defensive style, and that would be so cool to play alongside her. So yeah, easy answer there. Okay, what piece of advice do you have to someone wanting to get into content? Okay, I like this question. The biggest piece of advice I have is you just need to start. And realistically, you're probably not going to be very good when you start. I remember when I filmed my first video, and you can still find it if you go to my Instagram or TikTok, you can scroll all the way back to my first video. I remember when I was making that first video, and I remember thinking my first 50 videos are going to be rubbish. And then my next 50 are going to be hopefully slightly less rubbish, but still pretty bad. And I was like, each 50 videos will get slightly better than the 50 before them until I get actually good at this. And I knew that from day one. So yeah, that first video I did was rubbish, but the biggest thing is that I made that first video. And if I hadn't made the first video, I wouldn't be where I am now. And I think I've made over like 700 videos in 2 years. So you have to start. That is the number one piece of advice I'd give to anyone. And you have to accept that you're not going to be very good when you start. I think that's something that holds a lot of people back. They want to be amazing straight away, and until you accept that fact, you're not going to bring yourself to actually begin. So yeah, just start posting it, because you never know where it will take you. I've had the most amazing opportunities from content, and yeah, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for that first rubbish video. It was so bad. It was so bad. So yeah, definitely go check that out if you can. Okay, final question now. How do you deal with physical and mental burnout when you have a match, training and content to edit all in the same week? It actually feels quite similar to the first question, but I find it really hard, and it's not something I found the answer to yet. I think, like, I've not found the balance. Some weeks will be more heavy on the training and other weeks will be more heavy on the content. It depends what my schedule's looking like a bit, because I have to try and balance both. But yeah, both feel like full-time jobs. Football feels like a full-time job and content feels like a full-time job. So it is hard, and yeah, burnout is something that I struggle with a lot. If you spoke to any of my friends, they'll tell you that I'm normally telling them that I'm feeling pretty burnt out, which I laugh, but it's not good. It's not good, and it's something that I am working to try and improve. But I find it hard because I'm finally in a situation with football and content that I've always dreamt of being in. Finally getting the opportunities that I've worked so hard for. So it's really hard to say no to something, because it's what I've always wanted. It's what I've always dreamed of. But yeah, I do need to get better at saying no to stuff, because otherwise I end up in a situation where I'm only turning up with 50% of myself because I'm so exhausted and burnt out, and that's not a great situation to be in. I want to do everything I do with 100% effort, but yeah, burnout is something I really struggle with. So yeah, it's something I struggle with, but we're trying to find more time to look after myself, have more downtime and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the honest answer is I don't have an answer. I don't know. I've not figured out how I deal with it properly yet. It's something I'm definitely still finding out, still learning. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the questions. If you have a question that I didn't cover in this video, please drop it in the comment section below and I'll try and respond to it, try and answer it, or who knows, if we get enough questions I'll do another video like this. So yeah, thank you guys for all the comments, all the interactions, all the questions you've sent to me, and yeah, I hope that was insightful. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.